Hi everyone, welcome to the module 6 of the SRW course. Generally speaking, a network design includes redundant switches and links. Some version of STP, may it be PVST plus, RSTP or MLT, will be configured to prevent the layer 2 loops. Most network administrators want to use more bandwidth and redundancy in their networks. To help in such cases, Ether channel can be implemented. Ether channel aggregates links between devices into bundles. These bundles include redundant links. STP may block one of those links but will not block all of them. With Ether channel, your network can have redundancy, loop prevention, and also increased bandwidth. So usually it's a win-win situation for the network administrator. Two protocols, PAGP and LACP, are used. And this module explains both these protocols and shows you how to configure, verify, and troubleshoot them. Let's not wait to check out the functioning of Ether channel. These are the topics that we are going to discuss in this particular module. We are going to talk about Ether channel operation, configure Ether channel, verify and troubleshoot Ether channel. So let's start with Ether channel's operation. What do you mean by Ether channel? What do you mean by this technology? What we are going to get out of it? So there are scenarios in which more bandwidth or redundancy between devices is needed than what can be provided by a single link. Multiple links could be used to connect between devices to increase bandwidth. But as we studied in module 5, we specifically implemented STP, the spanning tree protocol, on layer 2 devices to make sure that loops do not happen. So multiple links or redundant links are kept in a blocking state. A link aggregation technology is needed that allows redundant links between devices that will not be blocked by STP. So such a technology is called your Ether channel technology. It is a link aggregation technology that groups multiple physical Ethernet links together into one single logical link. It is used to provide fault tolerance, load sharing, increased bandwidth, and redundancy between switches, routers, and servers. So we will talk more about how do you link these different Ethernet ports into a single logical port. We will all talk about it in due course of time. We have some examples also. I'll show you. So Ether channel technology makes it possible to combine the number of physical links between the switches to increase the overall speed of switch-to-switch communication. Our main objective is to increase the bandwidth by using the redundant links. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we don't want to bypass STP. So this aggregation technology, which can help us to provide this extra bit of bandwidth by using these redundant links, is your Ether channel concept. Now, this technology was originally developed by Cisco as a LAN switch-to-switch technique of grouping several fast Ethernet or gigabit Ethernet ports into one logical channel. You can check out in the diagram that there are two links from the switch to the MLS. Now, these two physical links are actually now combined to form one logical link, and that logical link is called as port channel. Please remember that we are going to use this term a lot in this module and also in our later modules as well. We call it as a port channel. So the physical interfaces are bundled together into a port channel. Here you see there are total 4 physical interfaces. Of these 4 physical interfaces, I bundled them together into 2 logical interfaces. So either channel 1 and either channel 2. So there are 2 port channels here. We will discuss about what are the steps, how to configure these Ether channels, how to name these port channels, and how to assign the ports to this port channels. We'll talk about that. So what are the advantages first? Now, because we need to understand why are we doing this? What is the main thing? Now here, when you bundle all the physical ports into a single logical port, all the configuration tasks can be done on that particular Ether channel interface rather than on each individual port. So you maintain the configuration consistency throughout the link. Ether channel relies on existing switch ports only. You need not upgrade the ports. You need not buy new hardware or anything. So you can actually use your existing links, existing switches, existing ports to have more bandwidth. Load balancing takes place between links that are part of the same Ether channel. And also, as I told you, Ether channel creates an aggregation that is seen as one logical link. You can ask me, when we spoke about STP, whenever STP finds an alternate path which is not being used, it will automatically block it. what happens now when I have, if there are two Ethernet Ether channel interfaces from between the switches, STP might block one Ethernet interface or one Ether channel interface, whereas the other one is kept active. When I call as a Ether channel interface, it is nothing but a collection of multiple physical interfaces. So even though your STP might block one link, the second link or your second port channel is active. That means I can have multiple physical links carrying the data between two switches. So thereby it increases my bandwidth, still providing redundancy. As I told you, Ether channel provides redundancy because the overall link is seen as one logical connection. The STP does not look at all the physical ports that are bundled together. It will only see as one link. So that is there. That is how we can actually maintain redundancy while increasing our bandwidth provided. So additionally, the loss of one physical link within the channel does not create a change in the topology, because these links are bundled together. But while implementing Ether channel, there are some certain restrictions that need to be followed. The first thing is you cannot mix interfaces. So fast Ethernet interfaces should only be bundled together, or gigabit interfaces should be bundled together. You cannot mix and match both. And also, currently each Ether channel can consist of up to 8 compatibly configured Ethernet ports. That means there are 8 ports. And the Cisco Catalyst 2960 layer 2 switch currently supports up to 6 Ether channels. And the individual Ether channel group member port configuration must be consistent of both devices. If there are two switches, we'll discuss about these things. We'll see in action. If there are two switches S1 and S2, when you configure Ether channel, the configuration must be common on both ends of these switches. And also when you create VLANs, both the ends of the switches or both the interfaces should have the same native VLAN and should have the same VLAN configurations also. When you are applying some sort of configuration on the port channel interface, it actually affects all the physical interfaces that are assigned to that interface. If I have maybe 6 or 7 ports to one port channel interface and I'm applying some configuration to that, in that case, my configuration which I applied to that port channel interface, it actually applies to all the physical interfaces, maybe G0 by 1, G0 by 2, G0 by 3, G0 by 4, all those 4 interfaces which I am combined to one logical interface. If I apply something, it applies to all. So you have to be very careful while applying such configurations on the port channel interface. Don't get too worried about it. Once you see these things in action, you take an example, it becomes much more easier and simpler. So this is how we have two auto negotiation protocols for implementing Ether channels. One of it is called as port aggregation protocol, PAGP, and the other one is link aggregation control protocol, LACP. These protocols allow the ports with similar characteristics to form a channel through dynamic negotiation with adjoining switches. Now, if you see here, this is a switch which we have, and there are certain ports. Now, there are some physical ports here which I combined to create one logical port channel interface. Similarly, these switches are combined to create another port channel interface. Now, if I want to apply some configuration to these, I can simply directly take this interface and I can put a configuration for this interface, so it will be automatically applied to all these ports. That is what I have been trying to say. So while applying these things, and you also need to make sure that all these belong to the same category. So I need all these should be all either fast Ethernet ports or gigabit Ethernet ports. Similarly, these things also, you cannot have one fast Ethernet and you cannot have one gigabit Ethernet all combined together to form one Ethernet interface. You can't do that. Okay. And you can actually combine such things also. You can put these ports and again these ports into one channel group only. We'll talk about it. So let us first look at the first protocol, something called as PAGP operation. It is a Cisco proprietary protocol which aids in automatic creation of the Ether channel links. When you enable it, when you enable PAGP, these PAGP packets are sent between the capable ports between switches to negotiate the forming of a channel. It has 3 modes. We'll discuss it. When PAGP identifies matched Ethernet links, it groups the links into Ether channel. The Ether channel is then added to the spanning tree as a single port. You remember, spanning tree looks at ports, root port, designated port, all those things. So when an Ether channel is created, that interface is presented to the spanning tree. It looks as only single port. So when enabled, PAGP also manages the Ether channel. PAGP packets are sent every 30 seconds. It checks for configuration consistency and link additions and failures between two switches. It ensures that when an Ether channel is created, all ports will have the same type of configuration set on them. So now what is this dynamic negotiation means? Now PAGP helps to create the ether channel links by detecting the configuration of each side and ensuring that links are compatible so that the ether channel link can be enabled when needed. There are three modes, as I told you. The first mode is called as on mode. This mode forces the interface to channel without PAGP. That means when you set for mode on, no PAGP packets are sent. It will be automatically set up into ether channel mode. Now, the second mode is PAGP desirable. This is an active negotiating state in which the interface initiates negotiations with other interfaces by sending PAGP packets. The third one is called as PAGP auto. This PAGP mode places an interface in a passive negotiating state in which the interface responds to PAGP packets, but it does not initiate the PAGP negotiation. Now, when you have two sides, two ends of the link, we need to check for the compatible modes. I'll show you a small tabular column where these modes, when they are set up on both ends of the link, whether the channel will be created or not. Please remember that the modes must be compatible on each side. If one side is configured in auto mode, it is placed in a passive state, and the other side is also placed in a passive state or an auto mode, channel configuration will not be done. Now I'll show you this. Imagine there are two switches, S1 and S2, and these are all the modes on S1, and these are the modes on S2. First, let us take the first instance. If both the links are set on and on, the channel establishment will be done, though no protocol is used. Now, if it is set on and the other one is set inside as desirable or auto, the channel establishment will not be done, because once the S1 side is set it as on, there are no PAGP packets that are going to be exchanged. So it doesn't matter what the other side is, only unless until it is on, your channel will not be established. If the one side is set as desirable and the other end is also set as desirable, then automatically the channel establishment, because both are passively or actively trying to negotiate. Similarly, one side is desirable and the other side is auto. One side is auto and the other side is desirable. In both the cases, the channel establishment will be made, because at least one side of the switch is trying to actively negotiate and establish the link. But if both sides are set to auto, both are passive negotiating states. That means they don't they don't actively try to negotiate, or they don't actively try to establish the link. So no channel establishment will be done. So these are the states for PAGP. Let's look at LACP also. LACP is an IEEE specification 802.3 AD that allows, once again, several physical ports to be bundled to form a single logical channel. This is also done similarly. Now, what is the primary difference between PAGP and LACP means? PAGP is Cisco's proprietary protocol. LACP is an IEEE specification. So LACP is generally used between or in cases of multi-vendor environments. For Cisco devices, both protocols are supported. LACP also works in the same lines as PAGP. It has the same benefits. It will dynamically try to negotiate and establish the connections and configure the ether channels. Once again, there are three modes for LACP. The first one is on mode, which is pretty much similar to your PAGP on mode, which forces the interface to channel without LACP. They do not exchange any LACP packets. It will there will be an link, ether channel link, which will be established without the usage of LACP. Whereas the second mode is something called as LACP active. So this mode once again places a port into an active negotiating state, pretty much similar to your PAGP active mode. And the third one is LACP passive mode. So LACP's active mode is similar to PAGP's desirable. LACP's passive mode is similar to your PAGP's auto mode. Similarly, we have the same configuration set. If both sides are on, your channel will be established using LACP. If one is on and the other one is active or passive, doesn't matter. No channel will be established. Active, passive, active, the channel will be established, because at least there is one switch which actively tries to establish a ether channel. If it is both set as passive, your channel establishment will not be made. Now, how do you configure? What are the steps that we need to do, and what are the commands that we need to make into play? Now, before we go to configuration, there are some certain guidelines. The first thing is all Ethernet interfaces must support Ether channel with no requirement that interfaces be physically contiguous. You need not simply need to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No contiguous matter. You can select any number of ports that you want, from anywhere, and you can group together to form one logical interface. But when you select them, you need to make sure that the speed settings and the duplex settings are the same for all these interfaces. And also, all these interfaces must belong to the same VLAN. And if you are configuring the interface as a trunk interface, whatever range of VLANs that we studied in our module 3 and module 4, whatever range of VLANs that are actually permitted through these trunk interfaces or through the trunk will be passed through the Ether channel interface also. Remember this, the port channel can be configured in access mode, trunk mode, or on a routed port also. If you see here, speed is okay, duplex is okay, both belong to the same VLAN. So the Ether channel will be formed here. Whereas here, there is a VLAN mismatch. One belongs to VLAN 10 and the other belongs to VLAN 20. So Ether channel will not be formed. Remember that the speed has to be same. The duplex settings has to be the same. It also should belong to the same VLAN as well. Only then the Ether channel will be created. Otherwise, it will not be created. So what are the commands? The first command is your interface range command, which helps you to choose all the interfaces that you want to bind together to one logical interface. Once you do use the interface range command, you can select whatever interfaces that you want to create. The second step is, once you select the interfaces, the next step is you have to type in channel group identifier mode active. And because I'm saying active because I'm trying to configure LACP Ether channel configuration. Now I can just use the identifier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything I want, and then I type in mode active. Once I do the second step, in the third step, I can simply I can now mention this particular logical interface with the command interface port channel command. Now check this out. Here on a switch, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a Ether channel by binding two interfaces, two physical interfaces, F0 by 1 and F0 by 2. For that reason, what did I do is I first enter the command interface range fast Ethernet 0 by 1 to 2. This is the range command. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in channel group 1 mode active. This shows it is LACP. And this one is the identifier given to this logical interface. Exit. After that is done, this means now I created a port channel interface with the identifier as 1. After that, if I want to apply any commands to this port channel interface, I need to go into the interface mode. So interface port channel 1. Now this is the identifier that I just created. And then I type in switch port mode trunk and switch port allowed, trunk allowed VLANs. Now I made this particular interface as a trunk port. And then I'm actually allowing the traffic of that belongs to VLAN 1, 2, and 20. So this is how we configure the Ether channel. Do check out the different packet tracer activities that are there under this module. It will give you a very good idea, and you will also once you do those things, you will get used to applying these commands on the switches. So let's talk about, once you are done, everything done, obviously as the network administrator, you need to look out, you should know how to verify whether your configurations and also troubleshoot your configurations if any problems arise. So how do you do that? We have a wide variety of show commands to do that, to verify your configurations of the network, to make sure that all the configurations regarding the Ether channel is done properly or not. I will show you the samples of example or samples of the output for each one of the show interfaces in detail. So the different show commands that we can use are show interfaces port channel, show Ether channel summary, show Ether channel port channel, show interfaces Ether channel. Now let me show each one in detail. So this is a simple topology that I have taken S1 to S2. Now if I want to check out the general status of the port channel interface which is created here, I can simply type in show interfaces port channel 1. It will automatically show that port channel 1 is up. That means it is active, it is up and running. So this is a simple command that I can see whether there is any port channel interface or not, whether it is up or down. Okay. The second show command is, if I want to see how many port channels are there or everything on the switch, I can type in show Ether channel summary. Once I do this, you will be given a list of all the flags, and you can see here PO1, that is the port channel 1. SU means S stands for layer 2, U is in use. It is currently active and it is currently being used. And you will also specify the LACP protocol. And after that, you can also check out, you can also check out, there are two physical ports here. There are two physical ports here along with the protocol. And these two physical ports, you can see a P over there. Okay. So P means they are actually bundled into the port channel. That means they are part of this particular port channel. And SU means it is in use. So the command that we use is show Ether channel summary. to verify. When there are several port channels, you want to find out which ports are there for each port channel, what is the number, what is the protocol that is used. It will display all these things. Now the third command that you can use is show ether channel port channel command. Now, this is to this provides actually information of a specific port channel. Now here I'm getting only port channel 1, and it will show you what are the two interfaces that are there, F0 by 1, what is the mode that they are in active mode, and port security is disabled, what is the protocol, all the information regarding one particular channel. You can see here the port channel is PO1, and all the information regarding this port channel interface is now provided here. The other command is you can actually type the interface that belongs to this ether channel. You can show it, you can type it as show interfaces F0 by 1 ether channel. This can provide information about the role of the interface in the ether channel. You can see this is all the output. If the this F0 by 1 is actually shown here, all it says LACP port, binding state, what is the priority, all it is given here. This is what is the priority of the port, whether it is sending the LACP PDUs or not, is it in active mode. The information regarding one particular interface which belongs to this ether channel can be found out by show interfaces. You type the interface ID and then ether channel. So this command is used. These are all the different types of show commands that will help the network administrator to verify the ether channel configuration, whether we did the configuration the right way or not. What about troubleshooting? When talk about troubleshooting, first of all, you should understand there are some common issues when you configure an ether channel. The issues might be like if misconfigured or mismatched VLANs on the ports, or duplex settings not the same, maybe speed settings not the same. And sometimes what you can do is whether the native VLAN is different. Sometimes if there is difference in the native VLANs of the switches of the ports, your other channel will not be created. And mismatch of the modes, which might prevent you the dynamic negotiation of the channels. If one side is auto and the other side is something else, it won't match, right? So all these things need to be taken into consideration. Now, if you see, once again, we have a small example. We have two switches S1 and S2. And for some purpose, I typed in show ether channel summary. And here what I did is, I can find out that PO1 is down, right? See, SD means S is layer 2, D is down. So ether channel is not working, it is down, and the two ports are also in the D position, that is down position. It's not active, it's not up and running. So for me to troubleshoot this issue, I need to find out why, what is the problem. The best thing I can do is I can go to the switches which are actually involved in this ether channel. There are two switches there, S1 and S2. I can simply check in the running configuration. But if I give this show run command only, I'll get huge amounts of output, which it takes a lot of time for me to go through. So rather than that, what I can do is I can type in show run, put a pipe, then I can give this filter begin interface port channel. So I will get all the information that is relevant to the port channel only. You can see here interface port channel 1, switch port mode trunk, the interface is F0 by 1, allowed VLAN 1 to 20, and the mode is on here. F0 by 2, once again the same. I can see whether all the VLANs are given properly or not, whether the trunking is done properly or not, right? So on S2 also, on the other end of the switch also, I need to do the same thing. I can just put in the show running configuration, begin interface port channel. Now, if you see here, the one side is kept in on mode, where the other side is kept in the desirable mode. In such a case, it's a mismatch. This, when you see the desirable, that means you are working with PAGP. So if one side is on and the other side is desirable, the channel will not be created, simply because when you have an on mode, that automatically will not send any PAGP packets, right? So we found what is the problem here. There is a mismatch with the modes of PAGP. We need to change that. Now the next step will be correct your misconfigurations, whatever you did. So on S1, I want to change the mode of your port channel. But please remember that before you apply any of these new configurations, first you have to remove the existing port channel. So no interface port channel 1. First, you need to type this command, because we are actually working with STP. If you don't do this and if you simply change it, it will not work properly. So for case of STP to work in parallel and STP to make sure it does the loop prevention thing, first remove the port channel that has already been configured, and then once again start doing it. So once again, I went for the interface range of 0 by 1 to 2. Now I created the channel group 1 mode desirable. Once I do that, this creates a new port channel with ID as 1. This is gone, long gone. The earlier one is gone and a new one is created. I can simply type in interface port channel 1 and then I can come in, put in as switch port mode trunk end. So once you do that, you can actually check out by using your ether channel summary, verify whether everything's good or not. Now you see everything's fine. POUSU, and it is saying that the protocol that we are using is PAGP, and both the interfaces are now part of your ether channel. They are bundled, right? So this is how you check out the configurations. You troubleshoot any issues with ether channel. But as I told you earlier, in order to get more hands-on experience and to better understand these concepts, it is always suggested to work the packet tracer activities. You do them by your hand. I want you guys to do it by yourself. Check out the videos, get the idea, work with the configurations, because these configurations will be carried out for the next 2 to 3 modules. We'll be working on more and more of these things. So just getting theoretical knowledge by just looking at the concepts will not do you much good. Okay, so please take my suggestion and work on the packet tracers activities of ether channel concepts. Create your own ether channels, use both PAGP protocol and LACP protocol, and there is a packet tracer activity on troubleshooting also. Do that as well. Try to find out what is the problem, because troubleshooting gives you much more knowledge than implementing. So with that, I will take leave for this particular module. I hope everybody understood the concepts of ether channels. Thank you very much and good luck.